What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
Tonight we have a guy, he posted a video where basically he claims that the separation of church and state is some kind of bigoted KKK propaganda, like conspiracy thing.
How about we make you a nice scary ghost costume?
I don't want to be a stupid scary ghost.
A racist, anti-Catholic organization that included separation of church and state as part of their creed, to which new members, who Justice Black was in charge of for the largest Klan cell in the South, pledged their allegiance to the eternal separation of church and state.
There you go, young man.
So if you guys are interested in tonight's show, then please stay tuned. This guy has a pretty fucked up idea of the separation of church and state, and I'm just going to let him go right on into it. Let's start talking there, bud.
It's time we properly address the wall. I'm not talking about the border. I'm talking about the wall separating church and state.
But be careful.
The phrase separation of church and state has been one of the most widely misunderstood and misused phrases in our country.
No one asked you anything ever, so...
Oh, has it been? If you mean it doesn't conform to your idea of getting to push your religion through the government, then I guess it would be misused. But in reality, it's not been misused because that's exactly what it means.
These 5 words has even changed our Constitution and made their way into U.S. Supreme Court opinions.
Okay.
Even being referred to by Supreme Court justices as a constitutional commitment.
Okay.
The problem is, this phrase is nowhere in the Constitution.
True, the phrase isn't in the Constitution, but the concept is definitely in the Constitution. Well, the First Amendment of the Constitution. It's in that Establishment Clause that it refers to this wall of separation. And then you've got Thomas Jefferson, who reinforces that to the Danbury Baptists, who are worried about the state fucking with their religion.
Not only is this phrase not in the U.S. Constitution, but every single state constitution makes explicit references to God and religion.
Oh my God! Wow! They may reference God in a sort of formal fashion. That doesn't say anything about integrating God with the state or religion with the state. That's just how people talked. There's actually no way they could have been admitted to the Union if they had religion intimately integrated into their Constitution.
The phrase separation of church and state did come from one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, who used it in a letter to the Danbury Baptist Church in Connecticut. They were concerned that the First Amendment was not strong enough to protect their religious freedom.
Far out.
Jefferson assured them that the Constitution built a wall separating church and state, meaning that the state could not also control the church.
Jesus, we're going in hard! Strap in!
I feel like this guy doesn't know how walls work. Does this guy know how walls work? A wall is a wall, right? You can't go through it and the other side can't come through their side. I really don't think he understands how walls work, which is kind of sad. Jefferson definitely stated in his letter to the Danbury Baptists, the whole American people, which declared that their legislature would make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, thus building a wall of separation between church and state.
So if this phrase isn't in the U.S. Constitution and its original use by Thomas Jefferson meant the opposite of how it's being used today,
I understand nothing.
how did it become so indoctrinated in our policy debates and even U.S. Supreme Court opinions?
I know what's right, but I'm not gonna say, because you're all jerks who didn't come see my band last night.
Justice Black wrote in the landmark 1947 case, Everson versus Board of Education.
Just to give you a little bit of a background here, the Everson versus Board of Education was over reimbursements being issued to children who were being bused to religious institutions. They had a problem with it. They appealed it all the way up to the Supreme Court. I don't really understand the result of it. I'm wanting to say that they were allowed to do it. They were reimbursing the parents and not a religious institution, and that was the main difference, which is kind of funny because Justice Black was the majority opinion on it. So he voted that they should be able to pay money for these kids to be bused to the religious institutions.
In the words of Jefferson, the First Amendment clause against establishment of religion by law was intended to erect a wall of separation between church and state. That wall must be kept high and impregnable.
That's what she said.
Sounds nice, but any idea what Justice Black was doing before joining the Supreme Court?
Why are you the way that you are?
He was a member of the Ku Klux Klan.
Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
A racist, anti-Catholic organization that included separation of church and state as part of their creed.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
To which new members, who Justice Black was in charge of for the largest Klan cell in the South, pledged their allegiance to the eternal separation of church and state.
This is how he connects the KKK to the separation of church and state. It's because of Justice Hugo Black. The way that he paints this picture is very bad. It's not actually communicating the correct message. For one thing, Justice Hugo Black was part of the KKK in 1925. That was before he even started a political career. Once he decided to start a political career, he immediately left the Klan and has left it behind. And I want to read you something directly from him. Before becoming a senator, I dropped the Klan. I had nothing to do with it. Since that time, I abandoned it. I completely discontinued any association with the organization. To act like, oh, just before being appointed to the Supreme Court, he was wearing a white hood. Before he even started his political career, he left the Klan and he has nothing to do with them. Just because he made this particular opinion, or he wrote this particular opinion, does not mean that it was influenced by the Klan because he had separated himself from it. That's not to say that I'm arguing like in favor of him being in the Klan. Obviously, that was a bad idea. This is a genetic fallacy that he's playing here, because he's saying that because he was part of the Klan, that means that this whole separation of church and state thing is like bigoted or something like that. The Klan did have this very conservative view of the wall of separation of church and state. Basically, what they wanted to do was use separation of church and state to oppress Catholics. They were Protestants that didn't like the churches and the organization because they felt like it suppressed their freedom or something like that. They had more of a relationship with Jesus rather than being part of a religion kind of thing, you know? They had this very conservative view of the wall of separation. They wanted to prevent Catholics from serving in the government, wanted to prevent them from voting, wanted to do all of these things. So just because they tried to use it as a tool does not make it inherently like bigoted or KKK thing for the wall of separation of church and state to be like it is.
Justice Black twisted Jefferson's original quotation and strategically embedded it in Supreme Court jurisprudence.
That's true.
I don't want to do it, and you can't make me.
That's true.
He strategically embedded it? He wrote it in a single, like, majority opinion. Like, that's what he did. Like, he didn't strategically do shit. He just talked about something that was relevant to the case that he just tried.
Since then, Justice Black's wall, which has become the modern interpretation of the phrase, has been used to promote intolerance and discourage people of faith from participating in the public square.
Are you stupid or something?
This is completely wrong. Promote intolerance and discourage people of faith from participating in the public square? Motherfucker, have you looked at the government lately? It is 99% religious people. You have a very Christian populated government right now. There are some people of other faiths in there, but for the most part, it's pretty much Christian. So I don't get why this whole separation of church and state is being used to discourage people of faith from participating in the public square. All it means is that churches cannot push any one particular candidate over another, and that's the Johnson Amendment. That's not even the First Amendment. The First Amendment would mean that you can't have Congress making laws that benefit a church or suppress a church. That's all that means. There's no intolerance. There's no discouragement whatsoever.
According to constitutional law professor Daniel Dreisbach, For much of American history, the phrase separation of church and state and its attendant metaphoric formulation, a wall of separation, have often been expressions of exclusion, intolerance, and bigotry.
Yeah, right.
These phrases have been used to silence people in communities of faith and to exclude them from full participation in public life.
How? I don't know who this guy is, Daniel Dreisbach. I don't know why he would say this because it's just not true. Daniel Dreisbach is writing for the Catholic Education Resource Center is what's happening here, and he's writing about Thomas Jefferson's wall of separation, how it's become a way to exclude people and communities of faith. But it really, like, this really seems to be religious person's opinion on not being able to push their religion through the government.
Properly understood, there should be a separation of church and state.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh no. You don't know.
I don't know.
One that prohibits the federal government from controlling religion and churches.
Do you like how that wall was just reflecting one way? Like, he's emphasizing that. He can't see the fact that it's a fucking wall. So in this image right here, he has the state building emitting the, I guess, legal waves at the wall, and it's bouncing back, right? He doesn't seem to understand that that works for if it benefits the church as well. And it also works like the church can't influence the state. You can't just let some of these legal waves through the wall and keep others out. This entire animation makes no sense whatsoever.
At a time when religious people are being targeted more and more by government through bad policies, unelected bureaucrats, and liberal activists.
And the intrusions from above continue.
That's true.
Honey, how are Christians being attacked in America right now?
Oh, all the time. Persecuted like motherfuckers.
They're persecuted like motherfuckers? Really?
Yeah.
How are they persecuted like motherfuckers?
I don't know, like letting other people live their own lives and make choices and shit.
Fuck those people. I don't have my hat. Look, here's my wallet. Fuck those people in capitalism.
Hey, if you're throwing money, you want to throw some this way?
I've only got plastic.
Oh, I can use that.
I don't understand how you paint this picture of Christians being persecuted in America right now. Like, they're not being persecuted. There's so much pro-Christian shit that goes on in America now. You're really having to stretch in order to get this. And this was just made 2 years ago. So this is definitely during Trump's administration, right? It seems like when they want the pity card and they want to seem persecuted,
oh, we're just persecuted. Like, we're being attacked all the time. The fucking liberals, Democrats, activists and shit. Fuck all of them.
But then it's like,
Donald Trump is our savior.
You guys can't see it, but I'm doing the Jesus on a cross thing. Give me a fucking break.
We would do well to remember Jefferson's vision and the true meaning of separation of church and state.
I do remember Jefferson's true vision. And you know what that true vision is? It's not allowing the church to influence the state, but also not letting the state make laws that influence or prefer any of the denominations out there. I don't know who falls for these things. I don't know why they think that they are being attacked. This is a mind fuck. These kinds of videos are mind fucks.
You ever been mind fucked before?
I don't think so.
I'm mind fucking you right now.
You are?
He tried to poison the well tonight by saying that Justice Hugo Black, who came up with our current interpretation, which isn't our current interpretation, he even said it in his opinion. He was fucking going back to what Thomas Jefferson said about the wall of separation, trying to keep that in mind without religion getting in the way. So he was going back to the original meaning. He seems to think that we have perverted this original meaning and it's the KKK that has done it. Or that somehow it's a bigoted thing because it was from the KKK. Motherfucker, the KKK were Christian. Because, I mean, you really can just make your own fucking church if you want to. And you'll be immediately tax exempt as long as you fit the criteria of a church. So, I hope that you heathens have enjoyed tonight. I know that I have, looking at this dumb shit. Before we head out, I want to thank all of you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for watching. Before you leave, make sure you smash that like button, leave us a comment, and don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.